Like nothing, literally, nothing around me makes sense. I'll just like burst out crying for no reason, literally hysterically. I'm just sitting there and I'm crying. I was like, why are you crying? Well, I don't know. I'm just frustrated about something. But I found a solace, with traveling. And I just found a solace with getting out of my comfort zone and meeting people and making those kind of connections with people. So that was very, very healing for me.
Doom da 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 doom da 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 doom da 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 doom. From somewhere around the world, welcome to the Black Women Travel Podcast. Hi, my name is Wanda Duncan, and I'm so glad you're joining me as we explore the paths of Black women who've made travel a large part of their lives. Welcome to the show. Doom da 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 doom da 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 do do da 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 doom. Hey loves, it's Wanda, the host of the Black Women Travel Podcast. I'd like to invite you to become a patron of the Black Women Travel Podcast. There are a few budget-friendly tiers you can choose from so that as a community, we can continue to heal, ask for what we deserve, get it, and inspire the next generation. Tap the link in the show notes and choose a monthly contribution that suits you. I'm so excited about the episodes you'll hear that will nudge you to love yourself deeper and take more action in your life from that empowered place. Please consider becoming a monthly subscriber through patreon.com/BWTpod. Get ready to hear another great episode.
So thank you so much for joining us today. Can you please tell us your name, where you're from, your current location, and the name of your business?
Yes, my name is Victoria. I am originally Nigerian, but I moved to the US in 2007. So I've been living in Chicago since 2007. Um, my current, the name of my business is The Stylish Trotter. It's a website, it's a blog, travel blog. I like writing about my travel experiences, and I like documenting my experiences for people. And I've seen that a lot of people follow my itineraries and also ask me for advice on Instagram. My Instagram is victoria.alao. But yeah, that's about me in a nutshell.
So tell us about your journey. How did you start traveling?
So I started traveling. It's quite a funny story, actually. I had one of my friends in the military visit me in Chicago. And then she said, "Oh, I'm trying to go to Colombia in 3 weeks." We're just having a conversation over brunch. She said, "Oh yeah, I have some time off, and I'm trying to go to Colombia in 3 weeks." And I was like, "Can I come?" And she said, "Seriously?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have. I mean, I've never been out of the country, so I think I would like to come." And she said, "Sure." And she thought I was joking. You know how sometimes with friends they plan trips with you and they drop that last minute. But I followed through. I bought my tickets. I think the day after we had that conversation, we booked our hotels. And this was in 2016. We booked our hotels and yeah, and I went off to Colombia with her. It was obviously my very, very first trip. So it was a language barrier. I didn't honestly, I didn't know what to expect to Colombia. I really didn't. I don't know anybody from Colombia. I don't know anybody who's been to Colombia. So it was a language barrier at the time. I did use Google Translate, but Google Translate is a little more, it's way better than it was, then. But it was really good then, don't get me wrong. But now it's more, it's more advanced now. But yeah, I use Google Translate a lot of times with people. And it was just an amazing experience. It was something that I felt free. I felt, I just felt like, wow, I don't have to think about work. I don't have to think about going home for like a week and a half. I could just literally wake up in the morning and decide, oh, this is what we're going to do. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So that's what really got me into traveling. It was just that freeing, that freedom, that sense of, belonging somewhere else, even if it's just for a short period of time. And I really, really enjoyed that. So that's what got me started on my journey as a traveler.
And I was reading as well. You graduated in 2013, and it said that I think this was on your blog that you were just kind of bored. You were just like, all right, well, I wake up, go to work,
Yeah,
and that's my life. And you
yeah,
were looking for something new. So it's really
yes.
cool that your friend made that trip. And so you went to Bogota specifically.
Yes, I went to Bogota specifically. Specifically, we had the option of Bogota or Cartagena. And she was like, "Oh, what do you prefer?" So I looked in Google and I said I prefer Bogota, and I think I chose Bogota because Bogota is more city, and I just wanted something similar to what I'm used to, which was living in Chicago. But in retrospect, if she had asked me today what I preferred, I'd have gone with Cartagena because why would I want to leave a city? Like, why would I want to leave Chicago to go to another city, right? So I would have gone to Cartagena because, it's very colorful. And yeah, in retrospect, I'll have picked that. But hey, I loved Bogota. I've been there after the trip with my friend. I've been there one or two more times actually. So it's an amazing city.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you said like it has a special place in your heart.
It does because that was like the very first place I went to, internationally. So it has a really special place in my heart.
So your family, you said moved to the States in 2007. So
Yes.
you still have a lot of affection and love for Nigeria. Like, how has that worked for you? Do you consider yourself full on Nigerian, or like maybe in America you do, but maybe when you go back to Nigeria, you see yourself differently based off of how people treat you? Like, what's the relationship like there?
It's funny, I get that question all the time and I never know how to answer
Yeah.
it. Because at the end of the day, it's almost like a best of both worlds. And I feel very lucky. I'm very blessed to be able to have the opportunity to have the best of both worlds. Like I have, the Nigerian experience. I have a Nigerian community here with a lot of my friends are Nigerian. And then, of course, there's the American side where because of my status as an American, I'm able to go into the American side of things and mingle with Americans and work with Americans, go to school with Americans. So, and of course, when I'm with Americans, I tell them I am Nigerian, but I'm naturalized or I'm Nigerian American. I never hide that part of me. I'm very proud of my roots. So it's really, so I guess, to answer your question, I am 100% Nigerian, but I just make it known that I'm Nigerian American, but I identify mainly with being a Nigerian because even, with the way I talk, my culture, the way I act, everything was from what I learned from growing up in Nigeria.
Hmm. I think that's a fair answer. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a question meant to like make you decide on which
Right.
everybody.
Right. No, definitely.
Well,
No, I understand.
yeah.
It's just really, sometimes it's just hard because it's like it's best of both worlds. Like, and then sometimes today you find yourself being American because in in America today, like a lot of people are still not aware of Nigerians. Oh, like when some people think, oh, black, like people of the black race, they don't think, oh, well, oh, you're African, oh, you're American. It's like, oh, well, everyone is black. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, I'm American.
Yeah. Like the nuance. There's nuance to it. It's not
Right, right. But
it,
I honestly don't mind. I don't mind, but I just, oh, okay, cool. I'm black. We're black American, black or black Nigerian. We're we're the same race, which we are. But it's just there's some nuances, but some people don't see that.
what about in Nigeria? Like, how are you received there when you
Oh,
go?
to be honest with you, I've not been to Nigeria since 2010.
Mm.
And I was in Nigeria in 2010 when I was in college. And I've not been back just because I feel like well, first of all, I started working. And the first few jobs I worked out outside college, I didn't have like good vacation packages. So I didn't really have the time to go to Nigeria. But from 2010, when I remember being there, people still received me as, oh, they call me Funke in Nigeria. That's my first name actually, Funke. So it's like, oh, that's Funke from high school. Like, oh, she's still the same. Oh, okay. So I'm still received as that same girl from growing up or from the neighborhood. So that's a good thing. So like when I'm at home, I still feel like, oh, okay, I'm home. Like nothing really has changed.
That's beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that. Some of my other guests are in the same kind of boat, being multicultural kids,
Right.
especially, having grown up in different places or maybe
Right.
your adult life somewhere else. So
Right.
there's this theme of like a feeling of belonging that some
Belonging. Yeah.
have
And it's
like.
such a beautiful thing, to be honest. Like when you have the best of both worlds, and you could go home and have a feeling of belonging. It's just, or you could go, even if you're here, you could also have a feeling of belonging here with your community here. It's such a beautiful thing to me.
Love that so much. Yes. So how did your family take your traveling? So it seems like you didn't come from a traveling family.
Oh no, definitely not.
You talk about having
Lord.
having an African mother and how difficult it
Yes.
can be. Like you were talking about planning a trip for her. And
Uh,
oh,
I actually stopped planning that trip because it's sometimes, so the problem with a lot of African parents is that a lot of African parents believe in the stereotypes. We, as millennials or, whatever, as young adults, we go into the world to challenge the stereotypes, to experience the stereotypes and know, well, this is not true. Not all Mexicans are this way. Not all Asians are this way. Not all Latin Americans are this way. So we go out into the world to experience the stereotypes and to debunk the stereotypes. But our parents don't have the opportunities to do that. So they live their lives believing certain stereotypes. And it's really hard being a traveler. And, oh, I'm going to Mexico. Oh, there's a lot of drug cartels there. Oh, they all die there. Oh, don't do this. Oh, don't do that. Oh, I want my daughter to be safe. It's like, oh my God. Like, because you heard something on the news about one part of Mexico doesn't mean everywhere in Mexico is like that. And I use Chicago as an example when I talk to my parents, because you heard news about, oh, people do this all the time. They'll hear like a news about Chicago. Oh, there was a shooting. Oh my God, the whole of Chicago is not safe. We're not going. No, there was a shooting in one part of Chicago, not the whole of Chicago, Illinois. Like, tell me one city where things like bad things don't happen in one part, or I'm waiting. Just name one city. No, these things happen, but our parents don't understand that. So being a traveler, being someone who goes to like all these countries that people deem unsafe, quote unquote unsafe, it was a lot. It was a challenge convincing my mom, like, hey, I'm safe, I'm fine, I'm literally fine. I'm not going to go looking for trouble. I'm aware of my presence. I'm aware, that I'm different in these new places, so I would act accordingly. So it was a challenge, but I mean, I started traveling in 2016. So after 3 years of me traveling really frequently, she's become very accustomed to the fact. And like usually when I just travel, I just have to call in and check in, and mom, I'm fine. I'm at this place, everything is fine, and then we're good.
and what about any like friends or family? Like, were they also very concerned about you being out there in the world like that?
So my brothers were very concerned. My brothers would say, well, why are you traveling? Just stay at home. No, why stay at home and do what? But they were extremely concerned. But my friends are really supportive, actually. They thought it was such a great thing that I was going out of my comfort zone to see the world and experience the world. And I've actually had some of my friends join me on my travels. Like my best friend especially, she travels with me a lot. And then I've had some other friends here and there just, join for like one trip. So it's been really eye-opening for them as well, because when they see me document my travels on Instagram, they're like, oh wow, this place looks like this. Okay, maybe for my birthday next year I could try going to this place. And it's just been amazing. I felt really blessed to be that tool that shows them the part of the world that they would otherwise not have seen.
How do you manage like traveling with a friend? Like sometimes, like,
Uh,
have you tried to travel with different friends and like just
uh,
found that one that worked for you?
yeah. Yeah, so honestly, with me being such an independent person, I like to travel by myself. I mean, I like traveling by myself and with friends, but I like traveling by myself, especially just because I could say, hey, Wanda, in 2 weeks, I'm going to Hawaii. But then in 2 weeks, I could actually go to Vietnam. And that's because I'm by myself. I don't have to consider anybody else while making this kind of decision. But with friends, you have to consider friends while making those decisions. So I've had some friends where, I have a particular friend, my best friend, she's very open. She's just like me. We could go literally anywhere. We could do anything. She's fine. We make a plan before the next day. Hey, we're doing this. We're getting up at 7, getting ready and heading out for the day. Cool. Fine. Everybody's up. But then on the flip side, there's other friends who sometimes we just like to sleep in. Oh, we're getting up at 7, they wouldn't get up till 10. And it's like, oh my God, like the day is gone at 10 o'clock. And then we don't leave the house till like 12. It's like, oh, the day is literally gone. Like, what are you
So
doing?
you're
They're like, well, I'm on vacation. I didn't come to vacation to struggle. Like, oh.
so you found somebody who has
So
the
it's
same
just,
travel style as you.
yeah, exactly. So it's really hard finding that balance sometimes. But hey, what can we do? At the end of the day, I think I'm always very satisfied with the fact that my friends want to experience this part of me. So I don't fret about it so much. If we leave the house at noon, if we leave the hotel at 2, okay, that's fine. As long as you're here, that's all that matters.
You do seem like very easygoing. There was an experience.
Yeah.
There was an experience you shared of um, showing your hair under your wig,
Yes.
like letting people touch your wig and then showing them the hair under the wig.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, like for Black women.
Because people are so curious, like, you would be surprised. And I just feel like, as a Black woman, I have to, we're forced, Black women, we're everything. We're forced, we're beautiful, we're a lot, it's just so many things about us that is going on, and a lot of people, especially abroad, cannot understand it. Like, wait, why is her hair so long? Oh, but tomorrow she has no hair. What's going on? Or why is she dressed this way? Or why is this? Okay, well, you know what? I would explain it to you because I'm easygoing and I'm patient and I want you to understand what you don't understand. So yeah, I've done that before where it's like, well, this is a wig and this is my hair. My hair is obviously not this long. I wish I could grow it this long and this straight, but I can't. This is what my hair looks like. And yeah, I don't mind it. I'm just so easygoing. Life is too short. So I treat life like that.
You better. You got time. A lot of folks ain't got no time.
I know. I
Where
know.
where do you get that patience from? Like, where do you have all this ability to
Honestly,
talk to these people?
honestly, my patience. So I feel like my patience is one of my strong suits, and it's also one of my downfalls because I'm too patient. And I think I just got it from dealing with a lot. Like, I know in my life, I have a lot of different kind of characters in my life. Like, I have extreme characters. Like, I have people who are like calm. I have people who are like loud and everywhere. I have people who don't like to argue. I have people who love to argue. So like having to deal with different kinds of people, it just makes you calm and just makes you patient. Because like what? It's just, sometimes it could be a lot dealing with people. So I've just learned patience from that. A lot of, and also from dating. I've dated different kinds of men. So
Oh my
so that
God.
has
Okay.
taught me
Wait.
patience.
So you literally just said, honey, I've dated men. I can do anything in the world.
Like, I can't. It's so true. Men are characters, but it's so true that when you've dated some kinds of people, it's just like, okay. You just learn some certain behaviors, you learn patience, you learn acceptance and understanding. And yeah, I applied those to my day to day as well.
Just wow. Just absolutely wow. You are so phenomenal. Thank
Thank
you. You are
you.
doing Lord's work for those of us who can't. You better work.
Thank you.
Um, I also wanted to ask you, like, it seems like with you being open, like you that you do couch surf, but you use it to meet people where you go.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, that's correct.
That's really cool. So, what have your experiences been like using the couch surfing community?
So couch surfing to me is like a I see it as like a mini Tinder, but it would never be advertised as a mini Tinder. And that's just because a lot of men on couch surfing, a lot of men in certain places want to meet women, not just, oh, I just want to be your friend. It's m- more, sometimes they could want more from the woman. And so from me using couch surfing, I tried to stay with somebody on couch surfing, but she didn't respond at the last minute. I had to actually book a hotel at the last minute. But I've met people, I've met women and men on couch surfing, and I say it's a mini Tinder because sometimes I've actually dated people abroad from couch surfing. But it's just, I think to me in general, I like using couch surfing to meet locals because a lot of people are always open to show you a new place. Oh, hey, I'm off work. I like blah, blah, blah. Do you want to, walk around? Oh, sure. I'm not doing anything. I'm literally just sitting in my hotel room. So, I've met people who I like that. Like they just want to show you their place. They want to make you explore like the local foods, the local neighborhoods. They want to introduce you to their friends, to some of their family. Like, oh, hey, it's just a different kind of experience for me. So I really thoroughly enjoy using couch surfing when I travel. And I'm actually going to Puerto Rico in December, and I'm trying to use couch surfing for accommodation for the first time because accommodation in Puerto Rico is expensive. And if you travel a lot, you can't spend all your money on accommodations because then you just go to like one place a year. So I'm trying to like use couch surfing to stay with people and just get that experience and see how it is. I'm a little nervous, but I'm also excited about it because I've never actually done that before.
Yeah, so I've used couch surfing. I can definitely share some tips with you, like later on. But yeah,
Okay.
it's a really that's what I love about it, especially like here in Malaysia. The couch surfing groups are really active, so they meet once a week.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and so you're able to just go see other travelers if you want. But most importantly, like to me, is to meet the other locals that are here
Yes.
and just hear their perspective. And they be real psyched about their city. They want to show you. They got
That's
time.
true.
They want to show you everything.
He actually had a couch surfing meetup in Bali once, and it was for someone's birthday. She was a solo traveler. So then a bunch of like 15 couch surfers just gathered up. We just all gathered up to go to a restaurant and celebrate her birthday. And it was such a nice experience. Like it just made me so happy that, she's so far away from home, but she could still find a community in Bali who's here to help her celebrate her birthday. That made me so happy.
Yes, I've seen like going away parties for people who like stay a little bit longer. Like, yeah, they're really sweet. Like a lot of them just understand the nature of travel and
Exactly.
they want to help however they can. Like they're really, I
Exactly.
met some really nice people. There's something else that I wanted to ask you about travel, and it was you said, and I think this was on your blog or maybe your Instagram. You said that traveling was more than a hobby for you, that it was soul healing.
Yes.
I wanted you to speak a little bit about that.
Yes. Traveling, it's something that began as a hobby to me. It's healing in the sense that I the fact that I'm able to make connections with a lot of people abroad, and the fact that I'm able to meet people, and sometimes even from the US, like sometimes I deal with, I wouldn't call it depression per se because I've not been clinically diagnosed with depression, but before I started traveling, like I'll have episodes where like nothing, literally nothing around me makes sense. I'll just like burst out crying for no reason, literally hysterically. I'm just sitting there and I'm crying. I was like, why are you crying? Well, I don't know. I'm just frustrated about something. But I found a solace, with traveling. And I just found a solace with getting out of my comfort zone and meeting people and making those kind of connections with people. So that was very, very healing for me. And that's what I meant by traveling is healing. It's meeting people. I'm healing from whatever pain it is that I have that I don't even know that I have, and then also bringing some of that education and knowledge back to the US and sharing it with my friends and family, sharing it with people by blogging about it. It's just something healing and therapeutic about it. And I'm really grateful that I was able to find that avenue just to express my emotions and express my just whatever it is that was bothering me that I couldn't even talk about, you know.
And so you've been sharing mostly on Instagram, and then of course you have your blog, the Stylish Trotter. But you have been sharing like these really gorgeous photos. You don't have like really lengthy captions usually. Like your captions are pretty small, and then you go more in depth on your blog. But you've gotten so much engagement from that. It seems like people are really drawn to the things that you share.
Yes.
Have you been
Yes.
like meet some of the people that you follow or that follow you? Like how have
Yes.
hmm
I've met a lot of people from Instagram while abroad. Usually, when I'm in a new place, when I put it up on my stories, I'll usually get like a message like, "Oh, hey, I live here too," or "Oh, hey, I'm visiting here tomorrow. Are you still gonna be here tomorrow?" "Oh, yeah, I'm here for the whole week." And then I've just met people from that, and it's great. There's people who I've talked to, like had communications with for like a year, 2 years, who we follow each other, but then I'll probably be in their city, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you're in my city. Let's meet up." And I've done that, and I think people are really drawn to you when you're yourself. I'm the way I am on Instagram. That's how I am in real life. So people are drawn to that. It's not like a fakeness going on. I'm not trying to be this person that I'm not, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate when people respond to me in that way.
Yeah, I think it's really really cool cuz like there's just a consistency to what you offer, and I think that'd be harder to do if you weren't being exactly who you are, you know.
Exactly.
So that's really wonderful and refreshing to see. It's like
Thank you.
it's like you're not marketing, right? sometimes
No, no,
sometimes it
no.
feels like marketing, what some people do, but you are just like it seems like you're legitimately sharing, and that's something that I really felt when I was checking you out.
Thank you.
Something else I love too is like looking at your Twitter feed, like you consistently like retweet other people and you share like your thoughts about things. You share the content that you're really interested in. I think so. It's really nice to see like support people be supportive of other people's content and like
Mhm. Mhm.
not even like necessarily content. It's not all business. Like a lot of it is personal. So like you talk about
Personal,
anime.
yes.
Yeah, you talk about anime. You talk about trying to figure out TikTok. Um, talk about like
I still
watching
can't figure
posts.
it out. And when I downloaded the app, I was like, "What is this?" Like, I don't. There's people dancing and people. I don't know. I just logged out of it. Like, I don't know. Not today.
You were also talking about like watching Pose. Did you find that show? Did you find anything interesting about that show? Is like what?
Pose,
Yeah.
pose. Oh my God. Honestly, it's going to bring me to tears when I talk about pose. So I'll try not to. I'll try not to, cry because pose makes me so emotional. And I feel emotional because I feel bad. So, and the only reason why I feel bad is because from the 90s to now, when you think of the time in between, I was born in 91. So, thinking of 91 to 2019, not a lot of time has passed because I still remember when I was 5 or 6. So, it couldn't have been that much time if I could remember it, right? So, it's just so I guess I just feel really bad with how things were so difficult then. Things are still difficult now in the LGBTQ community, but it's nothing compared to what it was in 1991 or in the 80s. And like, they had to like hide. It was just, I just felt really bad. Like, oh my God, the things that they had to go through at that time period. And with the HIV/AIDS, issue, now there's medicine that people could use who have HIV/AIDS that even makes them undetectable. But they didn't have that then. So a lot of people, a lot of young people, a lot of mid-aged people were dying from this disease. So I just felt really bad. Like, oh my God, I just wish we could, whatever we had now with the medicine, I wish we could have transferred it to that time period. So I just feel bad. It brought me to tears, honestly. I really love the show. I love, the kind of message that they passed across. I loved how educational it is. I loved how they highlighted the struggles of the community, but I just felt so bad. Like we don't understand what we have now in this generation, the kind of medical breakthroughs that we have versus what, they were lacking then. So it's just, it's emotional.
Yeah, there are some medical breakthroughs, and I think that conversations are evolving, but I also think that things are still tough.
No, definitely. Yes. Things are still tough.
Because
But,
like
to your point,
those medicines aren't always affordable. I think that a lot of times they're super expensive. I don't know the exact amount. I haven't done that research. But I just saw an article where two lesbians who were traveling to Saudi Arabia just got like 25 years in prison.
definitely, like, things are still, of course, things are still difficult. Things will always, for a long time, I think things will still be difficult in that community because people don't understand it. But, but just, just compared to at least, the 80s and the 90s, things were like, oh my God. I felt so bad. They couldn't even go out in public, and men would, like, beat them up or kill them just because, oh well, I like this gay woman, but because I like her, because I want to have sexual relations with her. Oh, I shouldn't. But then what would I do? I would kill her. It's like, no, it's just, and then the cops would come and take the side of the straight man. It was just a lot. And I'm pretty sure those still happen now, but just then it was like a stigma, it was like a disease. Now we're more accepting of it. So it was just so heartbreaking for me just to watch.
I, I
It
think
was
it,
just a lot.
I think it has eased up for sure, but there are still kids killing themselves, and
Of course.
if you look at the trans women that are being murdered at alarming rates, like yeah, it's still
Yeah,
it's still an ugly ass issue.
of course. Of
But
course. But
that show is magic. That show is so
the
good.
show is magic. I actually paid. I actually paid for the second season on Amazon because it's not out on Netflix. I can't wait for Netflix, so I just paid for it and I binged watched it all last weekend.
That's beautiful. So it seems like I read that you said you had to learn to speak up for yourself. And I thought that the
Yes.
two, the show pose and like you learning to speak up for yourself might be like a little bit linked because you saw like people having to be brave in the face of.
Yes.
so
Adversities, of
so
course.
so how did you learn to speak up for yourself? What kind of situations did you have to learn to speak up for yourself in?
Well, so a lot of times, and I'm still learning, but I think I'm better than I was in the past. Like before, someone would say something or do something that I probably didn't agree with, and I just wouldn't say anything because I was just too shy to talk or just too afraid of the kind of reaction I would get. And with that, I noticed that a lot of people would just walk all over you. They'll just trample on you. People would think, "Yo, it's fine. She's okay with it." And I've literally had people say to my face, like, "Oh, it's fine. Victoria will be fine with it." It's like, no. And then so I just had to learn to speak up for myself so people wouldn't take advantage of me. Like, no, I'm not fine with that. I'm not okay with it. Or if someone does something to me, like, when I was growing up, I would, like, in my early 20s, I wouldn't be able to confront them. I'll be too scared to confront them for confrontation, and they'll do it again and again and again. But now I've learned to say, hey, you did this the other day. You might hate me moving forward. That's okay. But I just want you to know that I don't like this and this needs to change just so they don't do it again. So I've honestly, and I'm still learning because there's still instances, especially in the workplace, like, someone who is superior to you would say something, but you don't necessarily agree with it, but I'll be too scared to speak up. So I'm actually still learning in that avenue, like in my work life, to speak up. But in my personal life, I've really learned just so people just don't walk all over you.
That is so beautiful. Yes, that is so important. That's something that I feel like our parents really don't give us. They give us what they can, but some situations they aren't able to prepare us for it, and being able to take up that space to tell to you also talk about boundaries. That's something else I really
Yes.
do. Helping people to respect you respecting yourself and helping people to respect you, and
Yes.
speaking up for yourself is definitely one of
For
them.
yourself. Yep. Yep. It is. It all ties hand in hand.
Absolutely. Also, I like that you are spontaneous, so I saw that in 2017, Miss Ma'am got a little bit of ink on your wrists. You
Oh yeah.
tell us about that.
I have four. One, two. I have four tattoos. The very first one I actually got in 2013, I think. And it was actually after a breakup. And I was so upset and I went to get a tattoo. I really couldn't tell you why I thought getting a tattoo was gonna help me heal my breakup, but I got it anyways. So I have that one on my chest. And then I got two tattoos in 2017, really spontaneous. I just woke up that day. I was like, oh, hey, like, called my best friend. Hey, I think I want to get a tattoo today. She's like, why? She thought I was joking. So like, why? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to. And I went over to her house to pick her up. And she literally thought I was joking. Got in the car and went to the tattoo parlor. She's like, oh my God, you're serious? I was like, yep, I am. So I got an anchor on my right wrist. An anchor could represent a lot of things, with traveling, and it could represent like like a boat with traveling the anchor. You anchor it in a place. It could represent that, or it could represent what keeps me grounded. So that's why I got the anchor. I just love the message, and I got a heart just because I have a big heart, that I
Ah,
want to share with the world. So I was like, I'm just gonna get a heart just because. And I have a rosary on my ankle, which is a prayer. It's a prayer bead. When my mom saw that one, actually, she goes, "Can't you pray with your mouth? Why are you getting a rosary?" I was like, "Oh, mom, it's what it represents." It's the prayer. So yeah, those are the tattoos I have. Oh, the one on my chest is love, peace, happiness, which is what I embody in life. I try to be happy. I try to love everyone. I'm at peace with myself. I try to be at peace with people. So that's what that represents.
I love mothers. Mothers are like the original comedians.
I know they're so extra sometimes.
They say some of the funniest stuff. Oh my goodness. Those tattoos are gorgeous. I love that. I didn't know
Thank
about
you,
the
thank you.
rosary and the one on your chest. I just saw.
Oh yeah, because the rosary is on my ankle, so that barely shows up.
Speaking of, you mentioned being grounded with the anchor tattoo. I wanted to ask you about your self care practices.
So my self care practice is very different from a lot of people's self care practices. So when you ask people about self care, they say, oh, maybe exercising or yoga. Mine, because I have such a busy life, like, with work, with balancing friendships, balancing a relationship, and I'm trying to work on some projects here and there, and then traveling. I barely have time to myself. The only time I have to myself is when I sleep. So when I realized that, I was like, no, something needs to change. So my self care practice is I'll literally just lock myself up in my room for like a few hours and just turn on anime, which is Japanese cartoons, I just watch it. I'm just by myself with my thoughts, just watching TV, just watching my Japanese cartoons. And sometimes I'll have ice cream. I just eat ice cream while I'm watching it. But it just gives me so much peace just doing what I genuinely really, really like. And I've been watching anime since 2007. So I genuinely love it. And I just sit there. I just watch. And it just brings me peace, it brings me happiness, and nobody's stressing me out. I'm not thinking of anything. I'm not trying to open my computer to respond to a work email. No, it's just me with my thoughts. So that's my self-care practice. It's very different, I know, from a lot of people, but that's what I do. And it's never failed me.
Do you also find that your solo travels bring you that as well? It gives you time for yourself where you could just enjoy?
I do, but sometimes with solo travel it could get boring. So because it could get boring, you don't want to be in the hotel by yourself for too long. So for me, especially, I just find myself being out for like most of the day just because I'm like, why? If I go to the room, I'm going to be by myself. So I'm just out exploring. And then by the time I come back, I'm tired. I just fall asleep. So I really don't have time to do other things outside of traveling that give me that that grounding. And with exploring, you're meeting people, you're communicating with people, you're creating content. It's not like you actually have it's not like it's you time. It's time for you and everybody else you're sharing it with. So I find that just honestly just being in my room at home just gives me that self-care that I need.
Ma'am, why are you keeping yourself so busy though? So you
Well,
literally like anime and ice cream is the only time you spend by yourself? Literally?
literally, except when I sleep. Yeah. So in the morning. So right now, like today, for example, when we're done talking, well, I have a meeting at 7, but I'm actually just have to push it actually, just because I need to. I'm just gonna rest a little bit and then get up. I'm working from home today. Then I have to go take pictures for Instagram later in the afternoon, and then after that, I have a traditional wedding ceremony for one of my friends. And after that, because it's probably gonna end at like 11, and that's it. My day's gone. And then sometimes in between I try to like study because I'm trying to go back to school for masters. So every day I've been making time to also study for my GRE. So then I do that in between the day, and then I also have to work on planning my travels, uh, planning blogging also. So yeah, before you know, the day is gone, hanging out with friends, hanging out with my boyfriend. Then my mom comes back from work and complains I don't spend time with her. I'm like, okay, well, we'll spend time tomorrow. And before you know, it's like gone. Poof. That's it.
But that's intentional as well. It's not like,
No,
oh, this just happened to me. Like you fill your calendar,
oh, definitely.
fill your
But
travel.
definitely. No, definitely. I do feel my calendar, but I like to stay busy. I like to stay busy. It
Mhm.
makes me feel like especially when I see results with me being busy. So with my connection with people, with my studying for my exams, with the blogging and sharing things with the world, I see results with it, and it just makes me feel purposeful. It just makes me feel happy. Like it just fills me with joy. So I honestly don't mind filling up my calendar. So sometimes I'm just gonna take this time to myself because I've had this time for other people, and I honestly it fills me up. I enjoy it.
Okay. Just checking. I, so would you say that your anime and ice cream like is that particularly grounding for you? Is that what you need in order to like find your center again?
um, so I think yes and no. Yes, because sometimes when I'm with myself and with my thoughts, it helps me find my center. Yes, sometimes, but no, because also communicating with people, sharing experiences. I'm a huge communicator, so communicating with close friends, my family, sharing experiences, it helps me find my center a lot of times. Just because I'm able to talk about experiences, but like we're able to exchange, like an exchange, right? When you're talking to people who are close to you, oh hey, this happened, oh, and I'm like, oh, this happened, and then we're just trying to pick from each other's experiences and each other's like from each other's experiences, and that keeps me grounded, honestly. Like just being such a huge communicator, it really does keep me grounded that much, I know. So I always seek out these communications with friends, and that's why when I make time, when I'm talking about my day to day, I include my friends in it because it's such a big part of my life. It's such a big part of what keeps me going and also what keeps me grounded at the same time, just because of the insights that they're able to provide and the insight that I'm able to provide for them. It's really, really important to me.
That sounds like some good friends.
Yeah. It
Like,
took me,
thank you.
honestly though, it's not always been like this. It took me years to cultivate the friendships that I have right now, because I've had some friends in the past that I've actually had to cut off just because we're not on the same page. And I've had times when I think to me, other people be like, oh, you have a lot of friends. I'm like, no, I don't, because I don't even talk. Like in the outside, it looks like I have a lot of friends, when inside, I don't have a lot of close friends. That was then, at least. So it was like 4 years ago. So to me, it's like it took me this long to cultivate these friendships that I currently have right now. And it's just great. Like it's just such a great support factor to me.
What kind of helped you to meet these friends that you're able to have these kind of connections with?
Oh, could you repeat that question? It broke up for a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I was asking, how did you meet these friends that you were able to have this kind of connection with?
So some of them I've met for since I've moved here in 2007 for 12 years. But then we just kind of disconnected over time and then came back. Everybody needs time to grow, to realize what it is that we want with life, and then we just came back and became friends. We just became friends eventually later into the future. So I have friends like that, and I have friends that I've met, like maybe like my best friend, for example. I met her 4 years ago at my workplace. Well, somebody introduced us, and we found out, we realized, well, I got a job at her company, and I'm still working there right now. And then we just started, we saw that we had a lot of things in common, and we just started spending time together, trying to get to know each other, and we're still best friends till today. So for some people, to answer your question, for some people it took going away from each other for that period of time to grow and to cultivate habits and to realize what we wanted out of the friendship and out of life. And then we kind of like met. I would say we met again, because maybe we'd meet at like a party and we're like, oh my god, this is this person, and then we just go, like, it just goes from there, just becomes this beautiful friendship. And then there's people who I've met like most recently, who I have so many things in common with, and it's like, oh my god, we have so much in common. We both like traveling, we both like to eat, or we're both in the same career path, and then the friendship just grew from there.
Speaking of travel again, you and eating, you like to
Mhm.
new places through the food. It seems like
Yes.
food and the people. So you meet people where you
Yes.
go and y'all eat.
Yes.
Alright. And so you're currently full time based in Chicago, and then you just take trips however whenever you can.
Yes.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you, do you have any song lyrics or poems that speak to you these days?
Mm, I don't read poems that much. Uh, I just never got into them. Maybe you could recommend some to me. I just really never got into reading. I know I need to change that. Like I would read for like for school, for an exam, but not just for myself. Like I just never got into it. And lyrics, no, I don't have anyone that stands out. I like listening to trap music. I don't think the lyrics stand out that
Oh,
much. So for now, no. Maybe you might recommend some things to me. I'm very open to, reading poems. Do you read books?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm very open to that.
I don't know if you have the time, Miss Victoria.
I, I could read on the plane on my way somewhere.
True. Okay, so no, so trap music, no lyrics, because we don't sing. Can you please tell the people how they can support your work? Where do you want them to connect with you? Is there any specific piece of material you want them to get at?
Yeah, definitely. So I want people to follow me on Instagram. I think it's really important for creators, especially when you're putting so much work into something, that people actually see your work and people actually appreciate your work. So I want them to follow me on Instagram. I'm working on a project right now, and I'm going to announce it in the next coming months on my Instagram. So when that does come out, I want people to reshare it, to talk about it, to create buzz around, just resharing on their stories. Those little things creates buzz around something. And yeah, I would just really, really appreciate that Instagram support. Twitter, I love Twitter. I use Twitter. I just started using Twitter honestly like 3 months ago. Or not 3 months, 3 weeks ago, 3, 4 weeks ago. But Instagram is what I think people should support me at. And my Instagram is victoria.alao.
Okay. And whenever that content does come out, are you going to announce it on Instagram or do you want folks to your
Yes, I
blog
will
too?
announce it on Instagram.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. I will put a link to your Instagram and a link to your Twitter and a link to your blog.
Yay. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Miss Victoria. Making time. Make
Yeah.
connect. I love it.
Thank you
I
so
really
much.
appreciate it.
I love talking to you. I didn't think I would be this open and expressive, honestly. But I'm surprised. I'm surprised at myself. You brought it out of me. Like I was very um I like that I was able to express myself to you. And I really hope your listeners are able to get my passion through the podcast.
Absolutely. I guess you didn't know who you was dealing with. You thought this was I'm playing. No, but like I connected with you first on Twitter and yeah, I was just like she's really dope. I would love to speak with her and like your personality
Thank
absolutely
you.
through. So I know that they will see
Thank
you
you.
as sincerely here on this podcast as they will on. So
Thank you.
all you ladies go check for Victoria. She's out here doing
Yay.
sports work.
Yay.
You have yourself a gorgeous day, man.
Thank you so much. I'm going to lay back down and just
Yes,
for like and just move my call and just lay down till like 9 o'clock.
yes. That sounds divine. Sleep in the nap.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You too. Take good care.
Thank you. Bye.
Barum, ah, barum.